Now, with that being said, how do we add mushrooms to our diet? What are ways that I can really like okay, I get it. I know that mushrooms are good for me. I know they can do all these things. How do I get them in my diet? Well, you're in luck because mushrooms are delicious. Number one, that is really that is really the main thing here is that mushrooms are delicious, so it's not hard. It's not hard to add them to your diet. Um, they can easily be added to things like soups, stews, stir fries. Oh my gosh, plant-based burgers, loaves. Oh, I am one to make a plant-based burger. I love me a good veggie burger. I'm not really a faux meat kind of girl, right? I don't really get too much into the faux meats like the Impossible burgers and stuff, even though those are good too. Like, I mean, when it's all dressed up and everything, I usually only have them when I go out, but I really, really love veggie burgers and making burgers with mushrooms. Oh my goodness. The way that you season them can take it to a whole different level because that's really what it is. It's all in the seasoning. It's not the plants themselves, it's the seasoning because if a regular burger wasn't seasoned properly, you wouldn't eat it either. Same thing with a vegetarian burger. And so you can take those mushrooms, like some portobello or some white button mushrooms or some cremini mushrooms, and you can ground them down in your food processor, add the same type of ingredients, spices, and herbs that you would add to a regular burger, breadcrumbs, whatever type of binding agent you use. You can use a flax egg or flour, whatever you want to use, and fry those babies up. Delish. But look at this picture. All you just put your toppings on there. You can put some cheese or some vegan cheese, make you some fries, delicious. And then you're getting a ton of mushrooms in your diet with all of their benefits in a delicious burger. You can also use mushrooms for things like broths and stocks. They're great for using for broths because mushrooms have that deep, earthy flavor that can really add a lot of body to a stock. If you're a stock maker, not everybody's into making their own stocks, but yeah, that's another way that you can use mushrooms. You can also roast or bake them. Roasted mushrooms are delicious, especially things like I've made roasted portobello mushrooms, kind of like a steak style, delicious because when it gets that little char on there, you can put your rub or seasoning on there and roast them in the oven for a little bit. And it doesn't take that long to cook them. They are absolutely delicious with the same kind of seasonings you would put on like a steak or beef. Delicious. You can also use dried mushrooms. Dried mushrooms are actually kind of slept on, I think, other than, people taking them in capsules, but you can also use some of these culinary mushrooms in their dried form and powdered. So you can look out for that maybe at a health food store, or if you go to like Asian markets and things, you can find a lot of these mushrooms powdered, dried and powdered. And what you can do with that is add it to other foods. You can add it to soups, you can add it to stews, add it to dressings. And what it will add is like that really beautiful, earthy, umami, savory flavor that a lot of times we find in animal products, but mushrooms are actually a way you can get that umami or that nice savory flavor in foods without using animal products. Mushrooms are also great to use anywhere you want more texture in your food. So the same way I said you can use them to make a burger, you can use them to make like a meatloaf. Uh, if you can make a burger with it, you can make a type of loaf with it as well. If you want some added bite and quote unquote meatiness in a stew or in a like a pot pie or something like that, you can absolutely chop up some mushrooms, chop them up, maybe more coarse, and add those to a whatever dish that you want. Salads, for example, are great with mushrooms. Um, I made a dish last night. I didn't use mushrooms in it, but I think next time I will. It was like a hamburger helper type of uh dish. where I use walnuts as the meat replacement. But I would absolutely next time throw some mushrooms in there because mushrooms are going to add to that nice, rich, that kind of meaty texture that, Hamburger Helper has in the sauce, right? So I would totally do that. I'm going to do that next time, but I didn't do it this time. But I have made other meaty type dishes with mushrooms that turned out amazing. So, yeah, that is that's mushrooms, guys. That is culinary mushrooms and the power of them, how they can be a absolutely potent and powerful plant ally in your kitchens that you can get in multiple days or every day if you want. And you don't have to spend a lot of money getting having them on in your diet every day. So yeah, so I hope this has inspired you to go out and if you're not a mushroom eater to try mushrooms. Try enoki, button, white button, portobello, shiitake, oyster mushrooms, you name it. There are so many that are at all of our local grocery stores, and you don't have to scour your city to find them. Yet they, can make such a big impact in our lives. So go out there and make you some mushroom dishes. I hope that you found value in this and that this inspires you to make some mushroom recipes. If you do make anything with mushrooms after watching this video because you're inspired, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And and actually let me come back to you guys here. Yeah. So if you were inspired to make anything, please let me know in the comments and tell me what that is. Tell me how you were able to incorporate mushrooms. All right. And if you have any questions, you can also ask those questions in the comments as well. If you want to know more about um, how you can add mushrooms into your diet or any other questions about mushrooms. Oh, also, I have a mushroom recipe. The last video I did on the channel is actually a mushroom. It's a mushroom stew recipe that you can make very easily and add that to rice or plantain, fufu, uh have it with bread or whatever you want, whatever starch you want, or with no starch if you're not a starch person or a bread person, which is absolutely fine. So yeah, so you can check out my recipe for mushroom stew as well. But yeah, that's it. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me again on another episode of Iwa Kitchen, and I'll see you next time. Take care, my darlings.